The Leading Edge Cricket Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast, episode 20, and today we're going to take a look and break down the fourth day's play between New Zealand and England down in Christchurch, as well as taking a look at day 3, what has gone on between South Africa and Australia. And if you haven't heard, the IPL 2018 preview podcast special has now dropped on the YouTube channel as well as on Apple. So make sure, if you haven't had a look, go check it out. We dig into the history of the IPL, the stars, the controversies, the 2018 squad for all 8 IPL franchises. We make our predictions on the 2018 IPL winner. I am Rob, one half of the Leading Edge Cricket Podcast. As always, bright and early, joined by my co-host, Rich.
Morning, Rob. How's it going?
Good morning. We're great, thank you. I've got to ask, how often does someone say bright and early, Rich, in the same conversation? Are you a bright and early sort of guy in the morning?
Not really, I'll be honest with that. And also living in England and with the seemingly 10.5-month winter we seem to be having these days, you don't really get that said very often.
So maybe I need to work on what I'm saying and going, it's a dark,
lovely,
grey, rainy sort of morning, Rich.
That's not gonna work. I like the little ray of sunshine coming from New Zealand. That's fine.
I've never been called a ray of sunshine either.
No, I wasn't calling you. I just meant the what you say, Rob. So let's not call you a ray of sunshine. That's a bit disturbing.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's crack into it. Let's have a look and see what's gone on day 4 between New Zealand and England.
Right then, buddy. Stumps day 4, we finished 42 without loss for New Zealand. The day closed early because of the weather, bad light, whatever you want to call it. England also, they got up to 352 for 9 declared. So the lead at the moment is 340 for England, but New Zealand do have all 10 wickets remaining. So let's catch up with where the day started. Morning of the game, we had 202 for 3 with a lead of 300. Joe Root was 30 not out, Dawid Malan 19 not out. So what happened? We start going through. Malan, he was out first. He got 53. Court Nichols bowled de Grandhomme. Malan picking out mid-wicket. Root went next for 262 for 5. He also just got up to his 50 but couldn't really move on, nicked it behind to BJ Watling off the bowling of Wagner. Bit of a frustrating one, really. Both of them just getting 50s. Would have liked, obviously, one of them to have gone on and allowed some people to back round them, but it is what it is. Ben Stokes was next man out, 12. Jeet Ravel bowled de Grandhomme again, stunning catch. We'll go through this in more detail shortly with Rob. And then where did we go next? Who was out next, Rob? It was
Broady.
Broady. 12. Ish Sodhi caught de Grandhomme again. Slower ball. Broady getting through the shot. He's caught Ish Sodhi for 12. Johnny Bairstow's at the crease at this point. He's also nicking off, but not getting given out. And I think there was no appeals left. Is that right, Rob?
Yeah, they ran out of referrals through to the umpire. And, you know, sometimes you see people go, oh, yeah, it's worth a shot. This is when it's not worth a shot. It leaves you a bit dumb.
Yes, exactly. And Johnny Bairstow apparently just stood there looking like an innocent little choir boy. And I didn't nick it. What do you mean? So Wood was the next man to go at 312 for 8. He couldn't repeat his first innings heroics. Full-length in-swinger, that did for Wood from de Grandhomme. He was on a right spell at this point. Bairstow was the final man out for 36. Bouncer hit across the line, top edge, hands goes up in the air into the hands of Henry Nichols at square leg. So that was Court Nichols bowled Wagner for 36 or 54 balls. They didn't bother with Jimmy A, so he was stranded on 0 not out in the first innings, didn't get a chance to bat in the second innings. Who knows how many runs he may have scored in this game if he was given a chance.
Poor lad.
It's not on, is it?
If England lose with 10 minutes to go, it's because Jimmy A didn't get a bat.
Exactly what he could have done. Let's get over to the bowlers. Trent Boult finished with 2 for 89 off 28. Tim Southey 1 for 65 of 19. So we were thinking we were just going to have a Boult, Southey, Broad, Anderson test match, but obviously that changed. Colin de Grandhomme wanted to get involved. He must have heard us. 4 for 94 off 26. Neil Wagner 2 for 51 off 22.4, and Ish Sodhi wicketless in the game, non-46. Off 11. So that took us into the New Zealand innings. It was a target of 382, which was set. Plenty of time in the day left, or so we thought. But New Zealand got through to close. 42 without loss. Tom Latham, 25 off 79. Jeter Ravel, 17 off 59. He'll be delighted. Pretty low strike rates there, but they'll be delighted to get through to close. They did lose about 26 overs in the day was lost. Yep. Something around that figure. It didn't quite work out as England had planned. I think they rather would have seen Jimmy Anderson bowl under the cloud rather than bat under the cloud. So understand why they put New Zealand in when they did. It's a positive declaration, but the weather just didn't get involved. Jimmy went for a runner ball, 9 overs, 5 maidens, none for 9. Stuart Broad, 8 overs, 3 maidens, none for 16. Mark Wood, just the 2 overs, none for 13. Leach, none for 4 off 3 with 1 maiden, and Root, 1 for 1. It actually was Leach and Root bowling at the end when they took them off it was bad light, wasn't it, that went off at the end? I'm looking at you, New Zealand man.
Yeah, it was bad light. We've just literally ticked over into autumn, which means we've had a clock change, and we've lost an hour. And the nights are drawing in, Rich. You can remember your parents saying it. The nights are drawing in. The nights are drawing in New Zealand.
I don't want to talk about that because I'm sick of it looking at miserable weather over it. I want some sunshine. The county season is imminent, and we've had rain left, right, and centre. So. No more nights drawing in. I want drawing out.
No more. England bowled well. To say they didn't take a wicket. Jeter Ravel got hit a couple of times. James Vince dropped a catch off Anderson's ball into Tommy Latham on 23. There were chances, but it was one of those. They were bowling well, and not always when you bowl well do you hit the outside edge. Sometimes you're too good. And I think Anderson and Broad probably fell into that category. Mark Wood, I think erratic probably comes to mind in terms of the bowling. There was a lot of energy, but there wasn't a lot of output. And obviously, go with the spin, try and keep as much of the game intact as you can. But it's always a shame when you see the players going off early in a test match. No one wants to see it. And we was chatting before we came on air about why don't they just start half an hour earlier if they know the clocks are going to change? It's really, really poor planning from Cricket New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It just doesn't make much sense, does it? So, Mark Wood, we've spoken about him a fair bit. What intrigues me a little bit, every time you get an English player on being interviewed at the moment, they're mentioning Mark Wood. They love the guy. They want him in this team. I think we may have a case of the England setup overvaluing its own and really not self-scouting as it should do. Every player thinks that Wood, top bowler, and first innings he was really unlucky with, can't believe he didn't get any wickets, as good a bowling spell as he did, as he's done in an England shirt. And that might be the case, I don't know, but he's not taking wickets. And he's only had 2 overs in the second innings, but he is the man that I'm looking for on the next, tomorrow, to go in and get some wickets. He's got to go in and get some wickets and show me that he is somebody that can go and blast away. In these 2 or 3 over spells, he can go and blast a couple of wickets away here and there. He's got to take some wickets. He's got to come back with a 4 for in my book, something along those lines to tell me that he has got a future. Leach, again, he's not really had much of a go in the second inning so far. Kept it tight, only 4 or 3 overs. Again, we've got to bowl around. We've got to play around him, should I say? We need him bowling at one end after we've had a good burst first thing in the morning with Jimmy and Broad. He's got to be the man that the seamers bowl around. And we've got to back him. We've got to get the right field. We've got to balance the field. We've got to attack, but obviously just make sure he's got room on the leg side so he can actually bowl at the stumps, as we spoke about before.
Yep.
And hopefully we can rotate those seamers around and blow New Zealand apart in 2 sessions. Because if we leave too much to do after tea, then by the way things have gone the last 2 days, we're not going to have much of a go at them.
No, not at all. Not at all. The Mark Wood points you make are absolutely correct. He is, unfortunately, the position of the England team and how one-dimensional they've been. He's the out-of-the-box character and out-of-the-box bowler and a little bit of speed that the England team is severely missing. So he is the flavour of the month. He's yet to deliver on being the flavour of the month. And it's the perfect opportunity. You're playing against a team that aren't going to be playing the shots. They're going to be shutting up shop. A bit nervous, every edge is an opportunity. The thing that he needs to do, massively, and it's a game plan by the England team, bowl at the bloody stumps. Give him a chance of getting a wicket. It's not often England bowl short, and we tried it in the other innings, and it worked against BJ Watling a little bit. Didn't work against a Grand Home, but Watling was able to put himself in a position where he scored 70-odd, which in no doubt, I look at it and go, short bowling wasn't working. Let's try and get some conventional wickets like the other 20 wickets in the Test match have been. Let's not try and reinvent the wheel. And England have just got to grab this game by the balls. No Test win in 13 attempts overseas. This has got to be the best opportunity that they've got.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'd say the draw is potentially still on because of the weather. The England win has got to be favourites. There's a very slim outside chance, I think, of New Zealand getting the second win. So it's all England, isn't it? It really has to be. But it's all about how we bowl. Mark Wood, just wanted to mention, not wanting to pile on him, but just mentioning, he's 26 wickets so far in 10 Test matches, which is 19 innings that he's bowled in. So 26 in 19 goes. A best bowling in an innings of 3 for 39, 5 for 83 in a game. He's come in the team as a strike bowler.
Yeah,
somebody that supports the openers and is there to take wickets, break partnerships. I just want to see him take wickets. I know he's had his injuries. I love the guy. He seems fun. You know, he's obviously got a little bit about him with a bat. That was a fun 50 in the first innings for him. But I just need to see him take some wickets, or at least look threatening enough to put the pressure on so everyone else can take wickets from that pressure. There's too many players with question marks. Wood's one. We looked at the batting yesterday. Vince is definitely someone with a big question mark. Stoneman, there's one hovering around. Cook, there should never be a question mark for Cook, but there is because of his form, and it's not just a recent form. And then, we go in as well. It's not saying there's a question mark over Root, but Root's form this winter, he's not gone to three figures.
No.
He's had a handful of 50s, but he's not gone to three figures, has he? So there's nobody really at the moment in this England team really standing out and doing what they're doing. Broad's coming back from a long spell of not really being at his best with his action. Jimmy is getting on in those years, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
It is. And I think what I'm trying to get to is we just need to see a really positive final day, because it's going to be a final day of cricket, obviously, for the summer, for this down under winter. And we need to see an England win. We need to see people perform, take wickets, look positive, take catches, do whatever they got to do, and let's finish this winter with a really positive outlook going into the summer. If we can't get it, if it's a draw or if it's a win for New Zealand, God knows, if it's a win for New Zealand, then the knives are really going to be out.
They are.
But if it's a draw, then I think this doesn't paper over the cracks, and I think there's going to be big changes by the time we get into England in the summer.
No, definitely, mate, definitely. We didn't touch on England's batting today, but one thing I want to say about it is they did the hard work, and the winning teams put themselves in winning positions. And this England team was in the position where they had the foot on the throat, and then Stokes went, Broad went, Wood went, and we just lost that momentum and impetus. And sure, Bairstow wagged a little bit at the end and knocked a few off Trent Boult. But any other team in the world would have scored a quick 30 and then gone in and right, we're at them. Whereas this England team, it was, we've lost 3 or 4 quick wickets and then now we're going to go and have a bowl. So I was a little bit disappointed with the way we finished the innings. But where do we think this game's going to finish off? So day 5's coming up. We're probably going to get 2.5 sessions of play. What do you think the final outcome of the Test match is going to be?
All about the early wicket, mate. I mean, if we allow Revell and Latham to crack on in this innings and bat time, if they can bat an hour and a half, then I think New Zealand are in a great position to save the Test match. I think they're looking at saving it before they're looking at winning it. If they're in a position to win with the last hour or 2 hours to go, then I think they'll obviously can have a look at that, depending on wickets in hand. So it all depends to me, the first hour and a half, first session. If England can have them 3 down, then England go on and win this game. But if New Zealand are only 1 down maybe, or none down by lunch, it's a New Zealand... It's a draw, should I say, with an outside chance for New Zealand win. Yeah. That's how I'd put it.
Yeah, that's very, very accurate. New Zealand have always got this attacking mentality in the back of the mind since the McCullum days, where he transformed this team around. And having people like Watling, de Grandhomme, Southey, they will have an outside. Number 1, save the Test match. Number 2, you know what? If we need 150 off the last session and we're only 2 wickets down, we've got a really decent chance of upsetting the apple cart. And they've got players like Kane Williamson. And now this is stats. So since 1990, Kane Williamson's 4th innings average in Test cricket is 66.9. There is nobody better in the last 28 years in the fourth innings of Test cricket than Kane Williamson.
That's a stat, buddy. That's a stat. And this is what it's all about, isn't it? You know, how do England bowl against these guys? You know, can England dismiss Kane Williamson early? If they do, it's England's win. You know, that he's so instrumental, isn't it, to New Zealand's chances? So It's going to be compelling, isn't it? And it's such a shame that, you know, with the time differences, it's not something I can sit up and watch every ball. It's just not possible. But yeah, let's see how it goes, Rob. I mean, obviously you're going to be tuned in, aren't you, mate? So
I will be. I will be watching as much as I can in between meetings at work. Slash out meetings at work. But no, I'll be keeping a close eye to it all day. Good old Sky Go is an absolute lifesaver.
The joy of it. So excellent. All right, well, that's England, New Zealand in the books, do you reckon?
That's England, New Zealand in the books. Ongoing match drawn.
Okay, all right. I think I'm going to try and be positive. I'm going to go England get the win. I think Jimmy A and Brody do the job early doors, and then we work around Leachy. And he comes up with 2 or 3 wickets as well. That's my take.
Nice, I like it. Let's roll into South Africa, mate.
Okay. Well, it's play underway today. That's just match situation. We have South Africa in the second innings, 162 for 3. South African lead now by 429.
That's a big lead.
Exactly. So let's get caught up. I can't remember exactly how much we've spoken about this Test match. So if we just roll through it, kind of just quick overview of the innings. So South Africa 480 to 88, a brilliant first innings against a bit of a disjointed Australian side. We spoke about Aidan Markram's 152. Temba Bavuma 95 not out, really deserved his 100, but just ran out of partners thanks to a couple of wickets and a couple of balls at the end from Cummings, including a Morley Morkel last. We thought it'd be his last ever walk to the crease. It might not be, but it probably still will be.
Yep.
First ball, last ever walk to the batting crease for him. So that was 488. Australia's first innings, 2-2-1 all out, blown away. 62 top score from Tim Payne. Pat Cummins 50 not out. Day 2 started Australia, 110 for 6. Payne and Cummings at the crease. They went on, as I say, to make some runs. 62 not out for Payne, Cummins 50 not out. So at long last, we saw Australia really kind of, you know, putting the foot in the ground and trying to push back at New Zealand. We need all the help we can get. England, don't we? Push back at South Africa. It was only Khawaja 53 at the top of the order that made any runs, but Payne didn't last as long as he would have liked, and this was thanks to a ridiculous Dean Elgar catch. If you haven't seen it already, just type in your search engine, Dean Elgar catch. Brilliant. Running back towards the boundary, ball going over his head, and he just went full length dive. And pouched the ball. It was just a ridiculous effort. New captain Payne, really good job. Cummings as well, showing what he can do. Fair play to Australia. They had a good go at it. 2-2-1 all out. Vernon Philander 3 for 30, Rabada 3 for 53, and 3 for 92 for Maharaj again.
I think it's worth saying as well, Tim Payne was a bit under the strain of an injury as well, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday, didn't we? That he's got a fracture in his thumb, hasn't he? A little hairline fracture.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he must be getting the injections in there. I'm not quite sure how you're holding the bat.
I like to see the grit, though. I like to see the determination.
Yeah, exactly. And Australia need that at the moment. They need to just bring the focus back on cricket, and the only way to do that is either really good performances or some really tough performances, some gritty performances. So Payne as captain, he's obviously leading from the front, and he'll want to do everything he can, to provide as much respect back to this Australian team in the last game. So taking us into the third innings, then South Africa, as I say, 165 for 3 at the moment. Markram was out for 37. He was the first man out to score at 54 for 1. He was nearly caught first ball of the innings, actually, but he got away with that one. Didn't quite carry. Now, what's that stat? You just said you've got a stat for me about Aidan Markram, Rob.
Oh, Aidan Markram, incredible. So he's just reached 1,000 Test match runs, and in doing so is the second fastest all-time person to get there in terms of days. And now it's 186 days for Markram from making his debut to get into 1,000 Test runs. Second all-time, only behind Mike Hussey, who was 166 days. But the list of top 10 is just full of absolutely exceptional names. Adam Voges, Andrew Staff, Herbert Sutcliffe, Michael Slater, Kevin Peterson, Rao Dravid, the list goes on. It's an elite list, and all of those players have gone on to have a fantastic career.
Yeah, and that's the key, isn't it? From that stat, for me, it's enlightening. It's clearly, obviously, if you hit the ground running, looks like you're gonna go on and have a pretty good Test career. There might be players that get away with it for a few hundred runs, but getting up to 1,000, that's not by chance, is it?
No, it's not. It's great knock.
Yeah. So next man, Amler, he's not really had the best of series. He was out, dismissed, court marsh bowled line for 16. At the score for 79 for 2. AB de Villiers, one of the stars of the series for South Africa, he was caught behind off the really impressive Cummings, 6 off 5 balls. At the score of 94 for 3. So where we are now, we've had a Dean Elgar masterclass in grit, 41 off 184 balls. And he's been joined by Faf du Plessis, 62 not out. So he's another guy that's not really scored as many runs as he'd like this series, the captain. But obviously that's a nice partnership we have there. They've gone to about 70 odd partnership. So obviously it's just now a matter of time. How many runs does South Africa? I keep saying New Zealand, Rob. What's going on?
You've got him on the
How
brain.
many runs? Oh man, all I'm thinking about is how England can beat New Zealand. How many runs does South Africa need?
Yeah.
432 lead at the minute. How many runs do they need, buddy? Still got a day and a bit to go. What's going on?
Yeah, I think they'll bat through to lunch at least, and probably give themselves 4.5 sessions, and say that's going to be enough to bowl Australia out. And I'm going to make the prediction that the game will finish on day 4, barring the weather. Australia, they're going to crumble. I can't see past them doing exactly what they did in the first innings. South Africa are strong. Australia are an absolutely broken team to the core, and they are not going to be able to withstand the pressure.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to take some grit, isn't it? I mean, you've got 3 of the top 4 coming in. Renshaw 8, Burns 4, Hanscom none in the first innings. They really looked like they struggled.
Yeah.
Khawaja, he batted pretty well. Then you've got the experience of Marsh. But then after that, you're into your all-rounders. Mitch Marsh, he wants to go on the counter-attack.
Yeah.
Tim Payne's a gritty guy. He's a difficult man to dislodge. But then you're into the tail. Cummins, Lyon, Sayers and Hazelwood. They can all hold a bat, Cummins and Lyon especially. But you really would, if you can knock a couple of early wickets off, you really are looking at getting stuck into that lineup. And the thought was crossing my mind as well, buddy. If South Africa, not New Zealand, if South Africa can declare at the right time, give themselves enough time in day 4, there's every chance that this can be a result today.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely is. If I was South Africa as well, after the series and all the uproar, that's what I'd be wanting to do. I'd be wanting to absolutely embarrass Australia in the 4th Test match. No one's giving them a shot. And you've got your foot on the throat. Like England earlier, you've got the foot on the throat. South Africa are not the team to let this opportunity go unless it was a World Cup semi-final.
No, the bowling attack's too good as well. We've gone through it enough times, haven't we? Rabada, Morning Morkel, Maharaj is bowling really well. And obviously Philander as well, who is economical and taking wickets at the minute. But Australia, it's going to be really interesting for me. Who stands up? Who shows that they've got the ball? Who wants a place in this team in the future? Does Matt Renshaw, Joe Burns, Peter Hanscom, do they want a spot? Is Khawaja going to be the absolute stud player going forward? Is he the man we're talking about when we talk about top Australian batsmen in the next 12 months?
Yeah.
Sean Marsh is getting on in years. What does he want? It's who wants it now for Australia. One of these blokes, there's 3 of these guys. They're the first 3 that have been given a shot. One of these, at least, has got to step up and show he's got something about him and bat some time and take the game into the fifth day.
Yeah, definitely. But it's been good fun as always, Rich. So we've covered the New Zealand game and we've covered the South Africa game. Guys, if you haven't checked out the IPL podcast, I implore you to go and check it out. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Apple right now for you to listen to. Subscribe, press the bell, and make sure you do not miss an episode that's going to be coming forward. There's heaps of great stuff that's going on. We're covering the IPL, we're covering county cricket, and we're covering all the world of cricket and Test match cricket at its absolute finest like now. There is nothing else from me. You guys have been legends. Anything else from Rich?
Just listen to the IPL podcast. I want to know what people have got to say. And just, if for nothing else, have a giggle at my pronunciation of all the names.
They're a classic. They're an absolute classic. Till next time.